is weird, odd, strange, or just plain bizarre is really your cup of tea, then the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast will give you that fix. Can't believe it? Well, listen for yourself as we deliver the strangest news you definitely won't find on CNN or Fox. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast.
Welcome to the GSMC Weird News Podcast with your host, Ryan Holloway, presented on the GSMC Podcast Network for all of your podcasting needs. Your favorite host, Ryan Holloway. So I got a couple things I just want to cover today. One of them is going to be right now, it's so cold outside that iguanas and sharks, they're just freezing to death and they're falling out of trees. Well, sharks aren't falling out of trees, just the iguanas are. You get it. Anyway, and then I'm going to tell you about how Snoop Dogg and Jack in the Box have teamed up to release a 420 mil. Yeah, they released the mil. It's called the 420 mil. And I mean, I would think that it's related to 420 because of like the time or whatever, that, 420. And, I don't got to explain all that to you. Weed is legal now. But I think it's 420 because that's how much change you may have, like, in your console if you at Jack in the Box at 3 in the morning. If you go to Jack in the Box at like 3 in the morning, there's a possibility that you only have $4.20. And it's all going to be in nasty change, like dimes, nickels, pennies, like this 2 pennies that stuck together. All that's going to be really ugly. But first I got to cover this Oregon thing with y'all. So as you know, we had some laws that passed, a few laws passed on the first, some different laws, you can buy weed at Toys R Us now. You can just do that. And then you can't rent pets anymore because people's pets were getting repossessed. Like people were like getting loans for pets like, ayo, I need iguana or whatever. And they say, okay, well, you want an iguana? All right, cool. It's going to be a couple dollars. And you're like, all right, cool. So you leave a $500 loan right there. And then if you don't make payments on your iguana, they come take it. So they changed the law so that you can no longer rent pets anymore, which I think is cool anyway, because you can't be having people kick down your door at 3 a.m. taking your daughter's cat. If you gotta like lease a cat, then you shouldn't be buying pets anyway, in my mind. Anyway, but that was last week. I'm gonna talk to you about this. So apparently there were only 2 states where they don't pump their own gas. It was New Jersey and Oregon. Apparently you just pull up, and then somebody just comes out and they just put the thing in your gas tank and they pump the gas. But Oregon passed a law where now people have to pump their own gas. Like they got to get out of the car and pump their own gas, which I mean, I thought was funny at first because people were complaining on Twitter, like, I don't want to pump my own gas. I don't even know how to pump my own gas. I'm in my mind, like, how do you not know how to pump gas? When I was 18, I taught this girl how to pump gas, and she treated me like I was a rocket science. Like, nah, you just push the button and then you just do it. So I was like laughing at these Twitter responses from these Oregon people. People were like, if I get out of my car late at night, I'm gonna get robbed at the gas station. Who is robbing people at the gas station? Like, first of all, just because nobody's going to pump your gas, that doesn't mean people don't still work at the gas station. The guy that used to pump the gas, he still has a phone. Like, you're good. But then I thought about it. Like, I was in Oregon a couple weeks ago, and Oregon is like, has an outstanding level of like frostbite. It's cold. It's super cold. So I started reading people that was laughing at these Oregon people, and I'm kind of like, I think you're just a hater. Because in a society where we can like push a button and have a car come pick us up no matter where we're at, or if we can like push a button, have somebody bring us food, you can push a button on your phone and have Uber Eats bring you a handful of sunflower seeds right now. Right now, you can have Uber Eats bring you, I don't know, a handful of red Starburst. If you only want red Starburst, you can have Uber Eats can bring you a handful of red Starburst. But y'all get on these Oregon people because they don't want to pump their own gas. Hey, I don't want to pump my own gas either. And here's my question. Do you really want people really out just pumping their own gas? Like, I don't. Because think about this. I'm just saying, like, I go to the grocery store and there's different type of lines. They have an express line where you got to have 10 items or less. And then they have the self-checkout. Now, I've seen this, the express line, and people for some reason can't count to 10. So then the express line with 15 items, and they're like, Oh, I didn't know I couldn't do that. This is 15. You have 15 different packs of Reese's Pieces. This is 15. No, but they all the same thing. So I thought since they're all the same thing, that maybe I could just, no, it don't work that way. So people can't count. And you have people at the self-checkout who can't use it themselves. People go to the self-checkout with a whole watermelon and it don't have a scanning thing on it. And they're just trying to just scan it and scan it. Ain't no barcode on that. So I don't have a problem with people like not having to pump their own gas. I don't think just anybody should be willy-nilly just pulling up to the gas station, taking out this AR-15 that sprays flammable liquid all over the place and better put it in their car. If someone's not comfortable with pumping gas, don't make them pump gas. So I'm on Oregon's side 100%. Having somebody pump gas that is afraid to pump gas is like if somebody said, if you got in the Uber and somebody was like, hey man, hey, just so you know, I'm afraid to drive. Like, I'm canceling the ride. I'm going to get a different ride because there's no way that I'm going to just be in the car with someone that's afraid to drive. People that's pumping gas shouldn't be, you know what? It's too late to pass a law where you make people pump gas because we gotten to a point now as people that have been pumping gas for a long time. We know allegedly you can't have your phone out. You're not supposed to be smoking. And like, I don't really know why you got to tell adults not to smoke near a gas pump, but for some reason you do. So we're so advanced in pumping our own gas in the 48 other states that Oregon people going to be pumping their gas. Like, wait, so can I take some gas home with me? Can I put this in this cup and then put it in here for like later in case? No, you can't put the gas in the cup. Oh, well, can I just roll this blunt? Cause weed is legal here. Can I roll this blunt and then pump my gas? No, you can't have flammable liquids near the gas. So where I'm at with this, I'm 100% fine with Oregon people being upset. It's kind of like one of those things where they pass a law and they say, hey, this is going to make everybody's life better. Like, remember that time when they put those chips inside of our Visa cards? They put all those chips like this will make your life better. Now, everywhere we go, we put it in and be like, boop, boop, bam, boop, boop, bam, boop, boop, bam. And the guy says, hey, sorry, it's got to fail a couple times before you can slide it. Why did y'all put this chip in my card anyway? Because somebody passed some legislation and said it was a good idea. Same thing with the bags. I got to go in the store, and if they like, hey, do you need a bag? Yeah, I need a bag. I'm buying groceries. All right, 15 cents. You want me to pay you to take these home? I'm going to just leave them here and come back in them later. So I don't know who votes for these laws that nobody else agrees with. I don't know who's in charge of that because they'd be like, hey, you should vote. You got to use your voice like it's important. And then the things that are passed, you be like, I didn't vote for this. Like, why does my Visa card have this chip now? And how come when I go places, if I don't have the chip, they look at me like I don't have a radio on my car? You ever go somewhere where they don't take the sliding thing anymore? They only take the chip, and you only got the sliding thing, and they be like, who raised you? Who raised you? This is a gas station. Why are you judging me? So that's where I'm at with it. I'm going to take a quick commercial break. And then when I get back, I'm going to tell you guys I'm going to either tell you about how Jack in the Box had decided to team up with Snoop Dogg for this special 420 meal, or I'm going to tell you about how it's so cold outside that sharks are just freezing in the water. Like they're just freezing and they just floating to the top. Just bloop, 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 bloop. So give me like, however long a commercial breaks take, and then we'll do that. And then when we get back, we'll talk about it. Be right back.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts, past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
Welcome back to the GSMC Weird News Podcast with your host, Ryan Holloway, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network to fulfill all of your podcasting needs. So as promised, let me just recap. I went ahead and gave you guys a heads up that I respect Oregon because they just passed the law saying they got to pump their own gas, which I personally feel like it's disrespectful. If you feel like, hey, that's entitlement. You shouldn't feel that way. The people should pump their own gas. Nah. If somebody was going to let me not pump my own gas, I would not be pumping my own gas. It's too cold to be out pumping your own gas. In fact, have you ever not gotten gas because you had to pump it? Like, wait, be honest. Now, here's the thing. I know some of y'all live with significant others, and y'all be purposely, I'm not gonna blame a particular sex. I just know some of y'all are purposely not pumping the gas and waiting for someone else to pump the gas in the car. And that wouldn't happen if we had other people pumping our gas. Now, I pump my own gas because I'm a grown up. I can't make ribs that well, but I'm a grown up. Now, if there's been times it's been too cold outside, it's been raining, and my tank can say, you have 3 miles to empty, and I drive to the gas station like this. Nah, I'm cool. I got to get it the next day. If someone else was pumping the gas, go ahead. Pump all you want. So, yeah, I respect Oregon. Like, I'm not about to sit here and call them entitled because they don't want to pump their own gas. I mean, that's ridiculous. Anyway, check this out. While you pumping your own gas, it may make you feel a little bit better that while you're in Oregon or California or any other state that just decided to make it rain weed and make it legal to buy weed wherever you want to. They got weed at Macy's now. Like, you buy a gift card and get a blunt. Wherever you want to buy weed, you can buy that. Apparently, Snoop Dogg has teamed up with Jack in the Box for the 420 mil. Now, for those of you that frequent Jack in the Box and have seen the commercials, we all know who the food at Jack in the Box is marketed towards. Y'all don't have to name it 420. Like, I appreciate y'all being smart about it. Like, 420. I see what we did. I get it. But, like, I already understand. Like, it's 420. See, Jack in the Box used to have a commercial where a guy pulls up in a van all by himself. It'll kind of look creepy low-key, but luckily the van was brown and all the windows work. It wasn't like a black van with the black tinted windows and the rusted hubcaps, because those are the ones, those are the ones you stay away from. If the guy in that van's like, hey, I got so much candy right now, at that point you quit eating candy, you go away. But the guy would pull up and he'd stare at the Jack in the Box and like, I want 2 tacos, and everybody knew he was high, but we couldn't say it yet because it wasn't 2018. Like, we couldn't say it, but now everybody knows what's going on. Apparently, it's going to be exactly 420, and the menu will be available from January 18th to the 25th. They're only going to have this special menu in the states that, like, have legal weed. Now, I frequent some friends. I have some colleagues that participate in the blunt consumption, if you will, some true enthusiasts of the blunt works, and I know how they get. I know how some of them get. And if you live in a state where weed isn't legal, and California is selling a special meal at Jack in the Box that's called the 420 meal, I got a feeling that you're going to drive from Utah. I got a feeling you're going to drive from Salt Lake City, Utah, all the way to Cali for this 420 meal. And everybody has 420 in their car. I feel like they didn't name it 420 because of the time and the whole weed reference. I think they named it 420 because that's the exact amount of money that you have in your car. Check under your seat right now. If you're driving right now, I need you to pull over because this is important. Even if you're going to be late to work, tell your boss, Ryan had an experiment for me. I need you to pull over right now, check under your seat, and then check the trunk, and then check the console where your drink leaked, and now some of the changes stuck together, that nasty change. Unless you detail your car a lot, you don't have that. But if you do, I'm not going to judge you, but you nasty. But collect all that change together. That's $4.20. That's exactly how much it costs. So, I mean, I personally feel like this is just incredible marketing in my eyes for them to go ahead and say, hey, listen, we about to go ahead and give everybody this meal. Because sometimes you pull up somewhere you can't afford something. You know, you go somewhere, especially if you got like a Visa gift card with like, you don't want to give Visa gift card you got a couple years ago, and now it's somewhere. It probably has exactly $5.17 on it. I'm just telling you right now. Don't call the number asking them like, hey, how much? No. It has $5.17. And if that gift card has $5.17, guess what you can get? Guess. You can get the 420 meal. Let me tell you guys what's involved in this meal, because that's the most important part, right? It's going to be chicken strips, 2 tacos, 5 churros, French fries, onion rings, and of course a small drink. Now, I don't really know. I feel like with all that stuff, I think that you need more than a small drink. I don't personally think that drink is going to do it. But if like if you're blitzed, if you own like the point where like you seeing dragons, you don't even know how you got there. I feel like it's not gonna matter what's in the box. I think if Jack in the Box start running out of stuff, they just gonna start just putting Cheerios in the box. Like here's your 420 mil, and you open like, oh, this is so good, and you eat it. I think that's what it's gonna do. My only problem with this is that if you have like a 420 mil and like they're making it illegal to be high as a plane and drive a car, if you have a 420 mil, can you really like not be held responsible for like, hey, come here if you're high? I feel like that's kind of an out hustle. So like you're at home chilling, they're like 420 million. Snoop Dogg is like, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot in the commercial. Because Snoop Dogg teamed up with Jack in the Box to get this done. I'm not making this up. I'm not, I promise. Snoop Dogg teamed up with Jack in the Box to get this done. And you at the house chilling, hungry, in your couch, it feels like there's 420 in there. Like you feel like there's about $4.20 in your couch. Wait, if you have that much change in your couch, then you're either very wealthy or you need to clean your house, because you shouldn't have that much change in your couch. Like your car is different. You spend a lot of time in there, but if you got that much change in the couch, you got to stop panhandling on your couch. Stop having weird people over that have a lot of strange change on them. Stop doing that. Anyway, if Jack in the Box is like, hey man, if you're high, come here. We have this 420 mil. I feel like it's an out hustle. I mean, the bar isn't like, hey, man, we got AMFs 2 for $10. That's not a good deal. We got AMFs 2 for $6, all on the television, and you at home. Hey, you have to be a real life drunk to like leave your house because AMFs are on sale. I think that's a bad example on my part. I take full responsibility for that example. If you're at home and they say, hey, come get this meal because you're high and you'll like this, that's different than the bar saying, we got AMFs on sale. And you're like, I'm out, and just bouncing and going and buying an AMF. So I'm sorry for that terrible example. I'm just saying that if you do participate in the marijuana enthusiasms of America, just be careful when you're behind the wheel, and be careful digging through your loose change in the cup holder. Because if you got the nasty change that stick together, you don't know what's in there. It might be chlamydia in there. We don't even know. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take another quick commercial break. And then when I get back, I'm going to tell you guys about like how cold it is outside. First of all, it's so cold that it rained. My bad. It's so cold that it snowed in the part of Florida where it hasn't snowed at in 28 years, which is ridiculous. But it's also so cold that like ridiculous things are happening. I'm also going to tell y'all about not top secret, about like this weird thing that happened in history a while ago. I think it's weird. I hope you think it's funny. I'll be right back.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Welcome back to the GSMC Weird News Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway. As promised, I told you guys when I got back I was going to tell you about how cold it was. But in case you missed the last segment, I just have to let you know that if you do participate in the marijuana enthusiasms, that Jack in the Box has released a 420 mil for your late night drives. That sounds terrible, but I mean, you guys will work it out. You'll work it out. Listen, so this is where we at. This is where we're at right now. This is where we're at. It's so cold outside that animals are just dying, like left and right. Like they're just dying. So as you know, Florida's pretty warm. Like it's got nice weather. It's like Cali, but they have a Miami, and weirder things happen there than happen here. Weird things happen in Cali too, but you know, like it's Florida. So apparently it snowed in Tallahassee for the first time in what looks like it's 28 years. First time in 20 years that it has ever snowed in Tallahassee. So it looks like what happens is that since iguanas are cold-blooded, they've been just falling out of trees, just freezing and then falling out of trees. Like, this is actually happening. And it's interesting because they're falling out of trees and like they're not dying. So like, could you imagine like you just fall? What if you got frozen and then you just fell out of a tree and then you're like, oh, I'm good. And you just bounce back. When these iguanas fall out of the trees, you want to make sure to not like run up on them, because there's been a warning given out that if they do fall out the tree, then they're not actually dead. So you want to be careful with like running up on iguanas that are just laying there on their back. Like, that's not something you want to do. Also, sharks are just freezing. Like, they're freezing and they're just going into what's the word? They're basically just freezing and then they're floating. They're floating the top of the water. And I found this interesting because like, this is really cool. I'm not trying to start any problems. I don't want anyone to like pour paint on my car or anything like that. But I just want to know, is this what global warming is? Is this what it is? Because if this is what it is, I just need to know. Like, I need to know more about this. If this is global warming, I need to know more about the situation. Because if this is global warming, then like what's global cooling? It's getting so cold that the iguanas are freezing and falling out of the trees in Florida. Now, here's the thing. It'd be different if they were freezing and then falling out of trees and then just breaking in the glass like we see on TV. But no, they're freezing and they're falling out the tree and they're just sitting there just chilling, like waiting to wake up. But don't run up on them because they could be dangerous. And you got these sharks that are in the ocean and they're just freezing, swimming and then freezing. So it's supposed to be like really hot on the planet. But I got to thinking, because I was reading all this information about, oh my God, these animals are dying and it's a problem and what are we going to do about it? And I don't know what's going to happen. Like, here's my thing when it comes to like the animals. What I was reading about iguanas, and they get up to like 5 feet long, and their feces can like spread E. coli, and they dig up people's lawns. And sharks kill people. That's what they do. That's my stat on sharks. They kill people. So like, if something's popping off to the point where, you know, like sharks that kill people and iguanas who like poop everywhere and like spread E. coli and like dig up your lawn, if they're dying because it's cold outside, I can't. It's not something I can't cry about that. I am concerned about how cold it is, because if it's so cold that animals that have been around for thousands of years are dying, then I'm concerned about our own safety. Because sharks have been around as long as dinosaurs. And if it's getting so cold, the sharks are like, I quit, and just floating to the top, then we got a problem. We have a problem. And if iguanas are getting so cold they're just falling out of the trees, then we have a problem. So I don't really know if this is what global warming is. If it is global warming, that's fine. But I don't want no problems with global cooling. I don't want any issues with any types of global cooling, because like, once it gets so cold that the vodka start freezing, it's going to be a problem. And this is what happened in history a minute ago, because I like to bless you guys a little bit with a little something I like to call best history, because this is the best stuff. They teach all this stuff in school that doesn't even matter, right? Like, when's the last time you used PEMDAS? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. When you use that? Never. But you're going to use this when you're telling your people. So check this out. You know how in Italy they have the Leaning Tower of Pizza, right? Like, it's leaning. And for those of you that don't know, it's not a tower made of pizza. That's not what it is. I know it's early and you may be a little hungry, but that's not what this is. It's a tower in the city of pizza, or the country, and it's leaning. Like, this is just leaning. And contrary to popular belief, this isn't something that happened. Like, somebody built this tower, was like bloop, 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 bloop. Like, it wasn't a Tetris situation where it was like dun 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 dun. No, they started building it. And then when they got to the second floor, it started leaning. They didn't build it to the top and was like, Mamma mia. That's probably offensive. They didn't build it to the top and say that. And then it leaned. It was like, oh no, adios mio. That's not what happened. They built it to the second floor and it started leaning. And they was like, And then everyone as a staff, record label, and the crew just decided, yo, we're it's just going to stay like that. And I respect it. You ever been somewhere with your friends and then something happens and you got to look around like, well, I guess that's just what we're going to do. I guess that's just what we have. That's it. Like, for example, you ever print out a paper and then you read over it and then you may notice there may be like a slight grammatical error in that paper, but based on time and based on the bank and just based on your staff record label and crew, whatever the situation is, just has to be let alone. That's what has to be. That's where it's at. So next time you're building a tower, it starts leaning. Don't worry about it, because eventually it'll just lean to the side and people will feel like it's supposed to be like that. Lean, like, because some things are just supposed to lean in particular ways. Nothing's ever really straight. That's not an innuendo. Do not take that the wrong way. That's not what I meant to do. Anyway, one thing I want to tell you guys. The Browns went 0-16, and they're having a celebration parade of losing. Like, they're the second team to go 0-16 and lose all 16 games. And this what I feel like is a metaphor for life. Because at first I was like, how do you lose all 16 games? All 16? What is y'all doing? You telling me not one team showed up just hung over after Saturday and was like, hey, y'all can have this game. The Browns was like, no, we're going to lose all the games. All the games. That's like that friend that you have when you're like, hey man, I can help you. They're like, nope. Watch me mess this up real bad. But I thought about it. And the Browns are going to own this. They're going to own this, and they're going to own being 0-16. That's a metaphor for your life. If you had a really bad 17, if it was really bad, like if I'm talking about bad, like you might be under the freeway right now because 17 was so bad. And if you are under the freeway, you still found a way to listen to me, then I appreciate that. But you got to get your life together. I don't want to be a bad influence. But if your 2017 was like 0-17, like the Browns 0-16, it's okay. Embrace it. And you'll be all right. Just, you lost. That's why you got fired. She left you. You got some boogers in your nose. Whatever happened, you wash your face. Everything's going to be okay. But you prepare for a whole year like the Browns spring training. Yeah, we wearing brown jerseys. Yeah. Wearing brown jerseys. And you're called. All right. Wearing brown jerseys. Yeah, all that. And then they lose all the games. They lose the last game by 4. And maybe that's what your year was like. But it's a metaphor for life, because sometimes you're going to lose all your games. All of them. And then you just bounce back. And that's how it goes. Anyway, I appreciate you guys joining me for another amazing episode of the GSMC Weird News Podcast, presented by the GSMC Podcast Network with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway. As I always ask, live long, prosper, and watch out for potholes.